Good evening, everyone. This is the Collector, and this is the Collector Paint and Chill. We're going to be working on this commission again. It's been my bane for the last couple weeks, but we're almost there. So, continuing from last week, we did the drilling for the canopies. All four are complete now. Our following step is going to be doing some weathering in mud, because as we all know, tanks they like to go off-road. So I've been doing some dry brushing using some fancy white bristle brush dry brush work. And for the paint, we're using a Vallejo Model Color Iraqi Sand. So that's going to be our little dirt dust. It's bright enough that it contrasts well with the dark green, and it also gives a nice little slight transition without needing to use an airbrush. Previously I said I was going to try to use an airbrush to do this, but I think the dry brushing looks a little better and a little more natural. So that's what we're going to do. So hope everybody's having a good Saturday. And as always, feel free to chat it up or ask questions or just hang out. Let's get some gloves on. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me fine. I'm not sure if my mic is fully connected. Here, let's check. Okay, seems like we're good. All right. Let's proceed. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get some of this dirt to catch the edges here. There's a lot of detail even on these Ironwind Metals kits that gives a really nice accent. But you don't want to go too heavy. You want just a little bit on all of these little edges. You see tires, they spin, they go around, and as they go around, it kicks up all that dirt and mud, and it's getting flung all over the place. So you don't have to be, you don't have to be really careful. You can just kind of, wherever you think the sand and mud and dirt will go and cakes up, that's where you want it. The messier, the better. Not too messy, because you still want it to look green. Get a little more paint over here. some more back here on the back end, because of course mud and dirt gets back there. More from my palette here. Dry it out just a little. You don't want to dry it out too much, but you don't want too much paint on it, because again, we're not painting, we're dry brushing. I'll use the bottom of the tank to kind of gauge where or how much pigment is coming off before actually moving to the upper parts. Oh yeah, you know it. This is the fun part. This is the it's like the final step before you start putting decals, or even before you put you could put decals first and then this, or the other way around. Sort of the mark of the end of the journey. And you know what? Let's get a little bit of dirt on top of the turret. Why not? You know, like, these guys move fast. You know, sometimes that dirt gets on top. You know, and you see it's not too much. It's very subtle, but it's there. Just to let them know, you know, I move really fast. And it doesn't matter if it goes on some of the blue and the red and whatnot. That actually makes it look a little more weathered. Everybody know how dabbing get down. Dabbing gets down and dirty. I love how the bristles will catch the edges there and really bring out the detail of the model. Or it'll bring out where you didn't smooth the model out enough or got rid of the mold lines. So, food for thought for the hobbyist. Just needs a little more dirt on top here. A little more dirt. A little more dirt. We need a little more dirt. Some of these planets have lots of dust storms and yes, sir. We got one more Chevalier. We'll go to some of these big guys. Need a little more paint. I actually ran out. Let's put some more paint on this thing. As you can see, as it dries, it actually darkens just a little bit, which is a cool little feature of this paint. How's y'all's weekend going? Yeah, yeah, buddy. This one's extra muddy. Extra dirty. The top ridge of the tires there. That way that looks good. Let's move that turret around. Get some of that backside of this tank. Try to get dirt on that tire. You can even see the details of the tire, even from that distance. Look at that. I still got to paint all the plastics from the Kickstarter. I haven't even gotten to priming those yet. All right, so there's our Chevaliers. I might go back and do a little more, but I think I'm fine with that now. I did one of these earlier today, the Myrmidon. So, kind of what I want to do with the other ones. So, gonna do the other three. Now there's a spot there where I missed the dark gray that I used for the treads, but doesn't really matter since it was going to get covered up with the dirt color. If you're wanting to do like a really thin layer and where you let some of the under color show through, so if you're doing like a very, very thin coat of this Iraqi dirt or some other sort of dirt, you can paint the underside like a dark gray or metallic or whatnot, and you'll have like both colors showing through. But I'm not that terribly worried about it. A lot of this underbelly stuff is going to be super glued to the base anyway, unless say you use your vehicles without any bases, but the client does want them on bases. But I'll do the bottom anyway. I'll still paint and do my best. All right. Should still be able to see that angled side. But tanks like to get dirty. Yes, they do. Get some of that mud and dirt all the way back here. On that back end. These are really nice dry brushes, so shout out to TBL Hobbies or it was TBL and also Mike for showing me the brand. Mike from the Trench Monkeys Discord. Can't recommend these enough. These are really, really good. And they were cheap. Really cheap on Amazon. Like $8 for a pack of like 8 of them. 2 big ones and 6 like medium-sized ones. Like 2 small ones and like 4 regular-sized ones. Some good stuff. All right, Myrmidon number 3. And we're doing slight variations of where I angle the dry brush to kind of make them look a little different. So each tank has a unique little pattern of dirt or whatnot, that way they're not all looking the same, as is the nature of things getting dirty. As you can see on the camera there, you can see once where it starts to get bright and isn't washed out by the black or by the dark, the shadow part. So you can see kind of where my shading is going on the dry brushing, and where it brings out the details. You can see the details. The Ironwood Metals Myrmidon also has a lot of really cool details here, kind of on the sides of the treads, that I want to accentuate. Really make it visible. Some of these little vents in the front too look really nice. And I varnished everything with what was it? Some Vallejo matte varnish before I got the AK Ultra Matte. Either or will work. You can also use Krylon Rattle Can matte clear finish or matte clear varnish spray, and that'll be really tough and durable, especially for metal models that like to chip on you, and at the slightest pressure that you put on any corner. So if you're looking at wanting to varnish metal miniatures, those Rattle Can enamel matte varnishes are another good alternative, another good bet. Otherwise, you want to be careful not to over zealously force your dry brush on there. You don't want to beat it up and end up scratching paint off. So, but don't feel bad if you do. Just try not to do it too much. What I like about these dry brushes is they're firm, but they're soft. I don't know how to describe it any better than that. They hold their shape really well, but they're soft enough that they don't rip the paint apart that you're dry brushing over. Yes, sir. Get that work in here. Get that finger action. little bit higher on this guy. See how that looks. Kind of put some dirt up there. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. Like Bully McGuire, you know? Y'all know that meme? Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. That brings out a little more. Just a little more detail. Nothing wrong with a little more detail coming up. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. There we go. These guys are looking good. Let me finish these myrmidons with this last dude. This last bro needs some dirt in his eye. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna dry this off a little bit. Save the best for last here. Well, these guys, and then the Fox hovercraft, light hover tank. Fill up my little paint pot here. Some more of this Iraqi sand. I'm going to have to buy another bottle of this one because I'm running out. I really do like this color for the dirt. Alright, okay, let's get this guy done here. These are the guys with they've got like 4 separate tracks, but we're gonna get them dirty. Yeah, let's see. My camera's a little too dark. See if we can bring the brightness up just a little bit here. There we go. Hey. Ooh, and you can see some more of the tank tread detail there. That's nice. Yeah, we want that. We want that. That's good. Okay. That here on this edge that would be rubbing against the dirt. Some dust in the bottom there. And I'm moving from forward to back here to try to keep the dry brush going in one direction, sort of. Right. Bottom to up, because that wheel's turning around this way, spinning in this direction, so kicking up all that dirt and crud back here and getting all under this turret. Some of it behind the back of the tank here. Yeah. Because, you know, tanks get dirty, baby. Yeah. Some of that on this side. Some of that love on this side. Yeah. You know, just a little bit. Get some of those edges up here. Gotta get some of them edges. Why not? Let's put it on top of some of the parts of the turret here too, because they're sticking out. So some of that might get up there too. Maybe get a little tiny bit on the top just to bring out some of these details. Sort of tie everything together. You know? The more detail you can see, the cooler they look on the table. I'll give you that contrast. Yeah. let's do that with this other guy. Sort of the same thing. And all these turrets are magnetized to make it easier to. I'm just not. I don't. I'm just leaving them on for ease of painting. And for all you guys who watched all the videos, thank you for sticking around and watching me do this commission. I'm going to keep doing these even if I'm not working on a commission, so. Got some other stuff I'm going to be painting too. Got Word of Blake that I got to paint for my store's campaign. I've got oil paints that I'm still trying out and learning how to use. We've got some Gamblin professional oils, Williamsburg, and some Winsor & Newton stuff. Caking that up, yeah. Getting some of that upper part. Get these highlights. Getting this side. I think that works. I think that works for me. Let's get these big boy Antoses. Untos. Big fat boys. Don't want to go too overboard here. Alright. Let's go. Itty tiny beady beady. Itty beady beady. Itty bitty pressure. Not too much pressure. I want to be careful with this one. Real careful. Because this thing has tons of detail, tons of edges. These Sir Mortimer Bombito models, man, they're just crazy good looking. Look at these things, man. Look at the detail on that shit. Look at that. Just look at that. I want to buy 10 of them. Dirt kicking up over here. Dirt kicks up in the back. It's got those cool little dots on the hub, where you bolt the frickin' hubcap or whatever, the wheel cap on. Let's see, these things are supposed to spin, so you're gonna have dirt not just on that bottom part, but also on the top part. That dirt getting everywhere. It's getting messy. There we go. Do that same thing on the other side. Just the detail. That's what I'm talking about right here. This is what the hobby's all about right here. Those edges. Let's get this edge right here. Some of these edges right there and right there. Let's get the turret off of that one. Let's do some of that delicious, dirty stuff right here. Get it all dirty. With how massive this thing is and getting everywhere, punching through little hills and dirt mounds and stuff, just not caring. That's what this guy does. He doesn't need to bob and weave around too much. He just kind of crashes through things. See a little rock formation. He's like, oh, that rock formation's about to turn this slag. Turn that into an anthill. Because the Ontos is coming. Oop. Knocked over the camera. Let's get some of this back in the tank on this side. Hit him by an angle there. A little bit of an angle here, a little bit of an angle there. Some of that dirt on top, you know? It's looking too clean. Shouldn't be this clean. There we go. There we go. Weathered the turret just a little bit. Just a little weathering on the turret. This thing's not as close to the ground, but at least the back is going to get some of that dirt. A little bit of the front right here, because crashing into stuff. Maybe together. Now you got a weathered Ontos. See that? That is looking good. Cool. Let's get some sandstorm weathering on top here. A little bit on that side too. These bad boys don't care about sandstorms. Alright, let's go to Ontos number 2. Type in on the comments, too dirty or not dirty enough. Because we can always go dirtier. Oh, that's right. I didn't do the little circular thingies. My little circle things. Yeah. You gotta get that circle thing. Yeah, I did it on one side, but I didn't do it on the other side. There we go. Alright, back to the other one. Look at that detail, how it brings it out. It's just magical. This is just magical. A little too much paint there. Let's feather that out. Feather it out, feather it out. Good thing it was at the bottom there. Did not quite dry enough of that paint off. But we're good now. We're starting to get a little too caked up, so I'm going to use whatever I got left on it, and then we're going to reset and reset just a little. There's still plenty of pigment on this thing, so I'm going to use it. Just got to be a little rougher with it, but I think that's looking pretty well weathered right there. I'm just going to do some on the turret here. Some on top here. Top on this side. You can tell some of the pigment's already flying off. This pigment that dried off is coming off of it and getting on my glove. But that's what we want, you know. We want that dirt. That dirt looking good. Sorry for getting it out of camera there. Let's get a little into it. All right. So that's all the tanks, except for my Fox hovercraft here. My hovercraft. Now they're not going to get as much dust. We could, but it's not what I'm aiming for here. Because these guys aren't really touching the ground. They're kicking up dust more along behind them. But they might get some on these little edges here. So I'm going to have to pop these off of the sticky tack, because I'm going to work from the bottom out, and I'm going to need to be able to see the bottom. So let's get them off of their little holders that we made. Let's put these holders out of the way. Some more paint from our little paint pot here. Our palette. Okay. How I'm imagining it is they're moving, you know, they're moving through the desert, you know, like that. Meow. So, all that dirt is kind of getting kicked up right here. A little bit here. And just... And he's bouncing around, and he's going, and he hits a hill, and it's like, and there's like dirt all right there, scratching some of the paint off, like, yeah. And then he's like, well, you know, gotta get the other side too. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. Same with this one, except he hits the dirt mound on this side a little too hard. He's got like some dust that gets caught right there, all over there, on the left side. Then it gets just a little bit on this side, just a little bit, so we're not uneven. And then some goes on top. We'll put some on top here too. Kind of going in an angle, so we're just catching the edge. Maybe on that side. There we go. I like how that looked. Yeah, let's do some on that side, on this other guy too. I like that. It's such a subtle little edge highlighting almost. It just matches perfectly. Even though the base coat is a green, that Iraqi sand works like a perfect little highlight. So you're doing two things. You're adding that dirt, but you're also giving it a highlight. So, I'm dry. I need to put a little more paint. Let's get some of this. Let's get this brush a little bit cleaned out. Get some more of the Iraqi sand. We really don't need that much anymore. We're pretty much done with this weathering. It really is amazing. There we go. That one brought out a little more of the detail here on the front. Here, let's see. If I set it down, will the light shift it darker? Here, let's do this. There we go. Yeah, these are looking great, aren't they? Client's going to be really happy. They look even better in person. This camera is not doing it justice. I really like that, going from the top and then pushing back a little bit. That gives just a little, almost a fade from like a light point to a dark point. So let's do that for all the Fox hovercraft here, since that seems to be looking good. See, like right there on that edge, it just looks good. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it there. I really don't have to do any more weathering. The next thing we're gonna do is these bad boys. So probably not the most fun thing to watch, but we still got time on the stream. So let's move these guys off to the side here. I'm going to clean my dry brush because we are done with it. It didn't last that long, Fubble. It didn't last. We are done with the dry brushing. Let's zoom out here so you can see the workspace. There we go. There we go. Silicoil. Got a lot of pigment dust everywhere. Here, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna move these guys just a little more here because a lot of this pigment dust. So we're gonna put y'all. Let's put y'all back here for now. All right. Now for decals. You know, normally you want to do the decals before you do your weathering and shading and oils and all this other stuff. But the reason why I'm doing this at the end here is I want the decals to really pop and be visible. And I didn't want the really tiny ones to be hidden under some splotch of dirt or something. So this will allow them to be focused. So let's see, let's count what we got here. I'm going to be using mostly the decals from the bottom here, maybe a couple from here. Since there are vehicles, I'm probably not going to need the big ones up here. Kind of see them better. So we got 8, 12. Okay, we got 12 of them. Not gonna need these big ones. right. And give me just a couple minutes. I'm gonna go run to the restroom for a second. All right, and I'm back. All right, let's get these decals cut. What I like to do is, rather than trying to hold it with one finger and trying to cut perfect circles, here's what I do. We take the segment we're going to use. Okay. We take snips. And the snips have a straight edge. Okay. And then you snip kind of a section that you want. And I like to snip them just a little bit wider than the symbol itself of whatever flag or emblem I'm using. Okay. Alright. And you got the one that you want. So then you're gonna grab your little pin thingy, your little what would you call this? Little gripper, little spiky gripper. Cut this one in half because I put two of them in. There we go. My little cutting board. All right, and then I got my. Oh, let's move these out of the way. I don't want them to get water on them if I'm not using them yet. Get our little cup, little clean cup. Put some distilled water in this thing. Okay, just like that. And you're going to take this teeny tiny, teensy weensy little decal and you're going to put it in the water. And it's going to soak in there, and so is this one. We'll put two. We're going to do two at a time here. You can do more if you're brave. You can do more. I'm just going to try to do two at a time. All right. And then, let's see. These are going to go on the Chevaliers. Okay, we're going to put them on the Chevaliers. So here's one of them. One of the Chevaliers. And here's another. Here's another Chevalier right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some reference pictures. So here's where we may run into an issue. Because if I remember correctly, the first Crucius Lancers have a first Crucius Lancers flag. and the client did not provide them, and I don't have them. So let's see, do any of them have a Davian symbol on them? Okay, the Jaegermech here has some. I'm on Camo Specs right now. So here, so that way. That way we're kept honest here. Let's share the screen. Okay. So as you can see, this Jaegermech has little Davian symbols on the guns. And this Osiris has one on the left side. So as you can see, even though it appears that the insignia requires it to have the organization insignia, which is the New Avalon Lancers flag, and doesn't really specify where the Davian symbol goes, you still have, from Camo Specs, which is our official source that we reference, the Davian flag. So what's cool about Battletech is if it's a Davian mech or a Davian tank and you have Davian symbols, you can put them where you want, unless it specifically says that it has to be a certain way or it has to go in a certain spot. You can put them pretty much wherever you want, as the Camo Specs art is usually considered canon and official. So here on the Jaegermech, they were on both arms. On the Osiris, it was just on one arm. So because there's no uniformity there, put the symbol wherever you want. Here we got two Maxims with the symbol right at the front. I like that. I like that the Davian symbol's right at the front. So, seen as how that is what that looks like, why not do the same thing? All right, so let's see. Where's a good spot of real estate on these little Chevalier tanks? So on the Chevalier, you have a turret. You have a little spot right here on the right side of the hood, the right hood. That could be a spot for one of our decals. You could also put it on what looks like a fuel tank or a piece of side armor, either on this side or on that side. That seems like good real estate. Or if I want to be really cute, I can put the thing right there on the circle, on the hatch. So, decisions. The client did not specify where he wanted them, so I will take the liberty to pick where I'm going to put it. Before that, one thing I like to do is I'll take some gloss varnish and I'm going to put a dab where I want the decal. Now what the gloss varnish will do is it's going to give me a smooth surface to put the decal on. That way when the decal goes on, it'll be nice and uniform. Then what I'll do is, after it dries, I will cover it up with a matte varnish over it. So it'll be a layer of gloss. The the decal and then a layer of the matte varnish to matten it back up. And what this does is it will protect the decal and also adhere it to the model as if it were painted on, because it will be a decal that is in between two layers of paint. Isn't that cool? That is really cool. Alright, so let's pick a spot here where we're going to put our decals. Let's see. Since I've got the stripes on this side, I think I'm going to put the decal on this panel right here. So we're going to put our little dab of gloss varnish here. Same thing with this one. Now, not all of the tanks are going to have the same real estate to put decals, but this one makes it pretty easy for us. So let's let that dry. Once that dries, we'll grab our decals and carefully slide them on. And for that, I'm also going to be using Walter's Salvaset. And what this does is it makes the decal material really hug the whatever you're putting it on. You just got to be really careful because that stuff will dissolve the decal if you're not too careful. Let's make sure that the gloss varnish is uniformly applicated on here. I want it to be just as smooth as possible. Oop. As you can see, it's already, seems like it already dried. It was a very thin layer, so let's go ahead and put some of this Salvaset on here. This is where things get a little, make me nervous over here. All right, so put some of the Salvaset on there. That's going to sit there. Now we're going to grab one of our decals. All right, now I'm going to go, oh crap. What did I do? All right, give me 1 second here. I want to be very careful. Okay, decal's still good. I'm going to use this brush to pick it up with. Come on. There you go. Put you back down. Decals, man, decals. Always a pain. Let me check orientation here. Do I got it the right side? Let's see, the starburst goes on the top or the bottom? Looks like it goes on the top. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure I got the thing oriented properly. There we go. Sorry that was out of focus, but yeah, this is some real precision work you have to do. Here, let's reorient this camera here. You'll be able to see it just a little bit better if I fix the focus. There we go. Letting the solve set do its work. But there's the decal on the model. You can still kind of see the gloss varnish on there. So we'll let that finish drying. A little bit of the edge is peeling off, so let me grab some of this solvacet. That way that edge doesn't peel all the way off. So this sort of dissolves the material and just leaves the paint. But what I like to do is I like to quickly pull the chemical off and I'm gently pushing down with the bristles on this to make sure that it's nice and set. And then what we'll do is we're going to take some AK Ultramat, and that AK Ultramat is going to act as our final layer on top, and I am just going to blob it on, okay? Why am I doing it like that? Why am I blobbing it on? Why is it so thick? The reason is because it will dry clear, and it's such a nice thick layer that it'll protect that decal. If that makes sense. So you're killing 3 birds with 1 stone here. You're sealing the decal, you're protecting the decal, and you're bringing everything back down to that matte that we had it before. So just kind of evenly spreading it out. And it doesn't matter if this matte varnish gets anywhere else because every other part already has a layer of this stuff. And we may even go back and do another pass of matte varnish to cover all the weathering that we did. So, but all right, yeah, that's 1 down, and we got 11 more units to put decals on. So that might be how we finish our night. Let's go ahead and put the solvacet on it. Our little right panel. Let me grab this decal. I'll be doing this off camera just for a second because I gotta get it on the brush. And I need to really focus here. Okay, now that I got it on the brush, let's bring it in. Oh, okay. Not the right angle. Let's try this angle here. There we go. Smooth as butter. Now we got it sort of in a slightly different angle than the other one, but it's not too bad. Let's get some of that AK matte varnish on here. Just blob it on. Blob that stuff on just like that. I'm not being careful, I'm just trying to cover as much as possible. And because that decal had edges on the sides, you want to cover that, because you don't want that decal going anywhere. And once that dries, it'll be like it's painted on. Alright, let's cut 2 more for our 2 other Chevaliers. Go, look at that. 2 little decals. 2 more decals. Alright, and let's bring our 2 other tanks that we're going to put our decals on. Let's get that glass varnish on. Nice and smooth. Alright, now we're going to put this decal on this guy. Just got to make sure I get that Salva set on there first. I don't want it to slide off. Oh, crap. Okay, there we go. Now we got some... Going to show you some finger skills right here. That's the decal right there. That's how small it is. And there she is. It is not as easy as that looks, I'm telling you right now. Smoothing out the decal, getting rid of any air bubbles with my brush. And then we go in with the matte varnish on top. And why I don't have to wait for it to dry, never had an issue with it. I just, you kind of just feel it out, and when you're working in these thin layers, it really doesn't take that long for it to dry. And the Salva set really helps too. Almost acts like a drying agent. What's up, Chris? I am putting decals on these first Crucius Lancers vehicles. It's for a commission. So I'm just finishing up by putting the decals on. And then once that's done, it's pretty much done with this commission. I'll probably box them up tomorrow and get them ready to go to the client. So the paying customer is waiting, and I want to get it out before the end of the year. So yep, it's been a really good project. I've learned a lot. on doing and how to make metal minis a little bit tougher and look good, even with just being the fact that they're metal. There's a lot of people that don't like Ironwind metal stuff, but I really don't understand why, because there's a lot of really good models and Ironwind metal sculpts. Like, the real problem is just when you have those warps, those like warped mold lines where the details are so warped and it's metal, you can't really do anything about it. It's not that bad with plastics. So a lot of the new plastics, they don't have that big of an issue. And if they do have mold or warping issues, you can kind of fix it a lot easier than with the metals, because you can chop the bad part off and put like a 3D print. Or I mean, you could do the same thing with the metals, but all right. Got this decal off. So let's go ahead and put this decal on the tank. Okay, we're going to wick off some of the excess Solvaset. Let it do a little bit of its work. Give it a couple seconds. Get rid of the air bubbles while you're doing it. Don't push too hard so that the decal doesn't fly off. And then go back into it with that AK Ultra Matte Varnish. Oop, I'm out. I need to put a little more in this pot. A lot of people are scared to do this stuff. Like I know I talked to a lot of guys in our groups, and I always ask them about decals, and they're like, "Oh, I can't do that. My hands shake too much." Like, trust me, brother, I know. With this nerve issues on my right arm and shoulder, and that's my dominant arm and shoulder, so I have to medicate just a little bit and do a lot of stretches before I paint and do stuff, because this shit is painful, but it's worth it. So there we go. We got decals on all four of these guys, and they're all somewhat in the right spot. Didn't really mess up that bad. I think it came out great. Did the weathering, did the main paint work. I mean, they are more than tabletop ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm very proud of this. Very proud of this work. And they got their little bases too, so I haven't glued them on yet, but they're gonna go onto their little bases. So whenever these decals dry, they'll all be on their bases. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. Really, really happy. So let's move these guys to the side here since they're done. Then we'll get our next 4 tanks that we're gonna do. We'll go with let's go with the Myrmidons next. So we'll do this, guys. Now I usually like, whenever I do decals on units, I want to put them somewhat in the same spot, so that way the entire force looks uniform. But you're not going to get that option all the time, especially if the unit itself is oddly shaped or whatnot. But for these guys, so let's see, they've got real estate on the front, kind of like the Ironwind Metal Maxims had. Oh yeah, yeah. he's a really good painter too. I like watching his stuff. He's got a really cool way of painting too. He's got like a really good he's got really good tips on how to use the contrast paints as filters, which I like, and then I like his weathering techniques. So how he does scratches on stuff, I really like that. Him and Arclight, I like their weathering style. Arclight is just next level though. His skills are just crazy. But we're learning, you know. I like to learn the skills that these guys use, and hopefully one day I can do them to a respectable degree, and I'm happy with that. Yeah. That way I can make my stuff look good, and if people so choose, they can commission me to do stuff for them as well. Oh yeah. Yes, he is. Indeed, indeed. Alright, let's get some more of this ultra matte dropped in this palette, just so we have it. And some of the gloss one, because we're going to need that too for the first coat underneath the decal. Okay, and then let's see. So if we go with the way the Camo Specs guys did the Davian decal, they put it sort of in the front panel of the Maximum. However, I did my stripes covering up the leftmost side. So our decal might have to go here, kind of in this gap right there next to the vent, in between this vent and this little panel. So either there in the front, or I can do it where we sort of mimic where we put it on the Chevalier and try to do it on a side. However, my eye seems to be more drawn to the front than to the sides, like it is here, where the sides of the Chevalier tanks stick out. So on the Myrmidon, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the small Davian decals, and I'm going to put them here, here, and there, so that they're all uniform. So, as we did before, we're going to cut these decals out, put them in the little water cup. We're going to do our little gloss varnish undercoat where we're going to put the decal. Then we're going to use our Solvacet chemical. Then we'll rest our decals where we want them and get rid of air bubbles and cover everything up with that AK Ultra Matte Varnish. So let's cut these guys out how we want. So I want them... You can't see what I'm doing. Here we go. Just remember to be very careful when you're using these things. Okay. These things like to fly when if you're not careful. Alright, so we've got our 4 decals. Let's see if we can speed ourselves up here. We did 2 at a time last time. Let's try to do 4 at a time this time. Let's get our... We're going to put our gloss varnish on the spot that we're going to choose. Make sure to be very thin with it. You don't want it to be blobbed on there. Okay. Oh, I think I bent the barrel on that one. There we go. Alright. And a little bit of gloss varnish on this one. Okay. Now we're going to take our little tiny decals. Howdy, howdy. How are you doing this evening? Awesome. Which box set did you get? Very cool. Yeah, you got a lot of good stuff in that set. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thanks for asking. I am just finishing up this commission. Did some weathering earlier, and then now I'm doing the decals. Once the decals are done, I'm pretty much done with them. I was gonna just go back and check if I missed anything, any details. Overall, in general, things are doing pretty good. We got our Battletech Sundays tomorrow, so we have our PvE and PvP campaign that we do. So yeah, pretty busy, staying busy and playing BattleTech, and then yeah, a lot of cool things happening in the local community here. Thank you. Yeah, we started out with airbrush, and then I did some highlights with the airbrush and like a zenithal airbrush with the green to like light green, and then after that I did not panel lines, like edge highlighting with a brush, then the stripes, then did the weathering. Now I'm doing this, so it's been a process. Oh, really? Well, if you need any help, any tips, or if you want to share a picture, you can add me on Discord, or if I'm already friends with you, you can go ahead and send me a picture. Yeah, that's the thing about contrast paints is it's not a single use solution. There really isn't a such thing. You can't just put one coat of paint of anything of any kind and be like, this is good now. Every type of paint is a tool in the toolbox. Yeah, you can do that. I'm not saying you can't use contrast paints. I'm just saying, you know, um, if you're going to use contrast paints, prep the model first in a way where you're setting yourself up for success. So, you do your bone white or matte gray or light gray, then you put your contrast paint over it, let it dry, then do a dry brush, do your other paint apps, do your metallics, and then use your matte paints. So if you want to see like a highlight, you'll do that by hand. Yeah, it depends too on the model. There's a lot of BattleTech models that you just paint it bone white and then drop a blob of contrast red and boom, you got Karita. And then maybe a little light dry brushing of like a brighter red color or like a yellow or an orange, and boom, you've got your edge highlight. Yeah, no problem. No problem, no problem. Yeah, if you use like a dark metal, it's going to be harder to really get the look, the contrast paint look. But if you use like a, like a really shiny chrome or silver, like a bright silver, like a white aluminum, um, it'll be easier for you to get that contrast effect. So, because a lot of the contrast paints they're transparent, unless you're using some of like the darker, really high pigmented blues. There's a couple of the contrast blues that, like the ultramarine one, the McCrag blue contrast or something like that. Like it's just really opaque that it might as well just be a really thinned paint or like an airbrush matte paint, because it's not transparent at all. And even over like a white base coat, it still just turns it like dark blue. Yeah, it's true. Do you have the contrast medium? Like the contrast paint medium? Do you have any of that? Yeah, you need that stuff really for contrast paints or for like the speed paints, because it's a game changer when it comes to getting the most out of your contrast paints. The contrast paints are much better when you have something that can thin them, that isn't going to like water them down and mess up the properties. Yeah, you really do want to get either contrast medium or speed paint medium or something. You can make your own. Um, I've used glaze medium mixed with a little bit of matte medium from Vallejo, and then some distilled water. So you mix a little bit of that one with the other, and you get kind of a contrast medium ish. There's YouTube videos on like how to make your own contrast medium, so you're not spending $6, $8, $15 for like a bottle of some pre-mixed stuff that you could just make yourself if you already have matte varnish or matte medium. Um, Pretty much all you really need is just some kind of transparent medium that you can mix the contrast paint with, where it won't break down the paint and make it into a watery mess. So glaze medium, matte medium, matte varnish, like all of these will have slightly different properties. Hey John, what's up, dude? It's been a while. It's been a week. Yeah, but you want to, you don't want to just use that by itself either. You want to use it with you want to mix it with some water, some distilled water. You know, like I can't tell you off the top of my head like the mixed ratios. You want to get like an empty dropper bottle, put like a third matte varnish medium or matte varnish or matte medium, and then the rest, you want like a little bit of a surfactant, just a tiny drop of surfactant, and or like a tiny drop of like one drop of flow improver, and then like the rest is distilled water, or like half matte medium, half distilled water, and a drop of flow improver, and then mix that up, and you'll get yourself a nice like contrast medium, essentially. Your contrast, something that you can use for contrast, or you can use for regular paints. You can mix it with regular paints that are already very well pigmented, and then you'll make yourself your own very thin paint that you can layer on for I guess better coverage. Oh, you're good, man. You're good. There's no rush, man. I'm not hell, depending on how I feel, I might not be there early. My shoulder's been killing me. It's been killing me something fierce. But I got to get this job done because it's already coming up on mid-October, and I need to get this thing shipped out before the holiday rush. Make sure to send me that shopping list of units that you're going to be buying for the campaign. Oh, okay, gotcha. Either you can do it here. You can do it right here because I don't want to keep opening up different windows. So just put it here and I'll see it. And then once I'm done with the stream, I'll go back to the Discord and we can chat. Yeah. Either way, however it's more convenient for you. Like either you can put it in the Discord and in the Etten Discord chat, or in my DM or whatever, and I'll add them. I'll add whatever units, or you can ask one of the other GMs. You can ask. Well, I don't want to. Whatchamacallit? I don't want to dox anybody. So, you know who the GMs are. You can just be like, hey, which one of y'all motherfuckers are a GM, and then they'll come out. Do I do multiple commissions at a time? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I'll do multiple. I have multiple commissions I'm working on right now. This one's taking priority because this guy was first. So he was first, and then my other guy, he's the next one in line. So I'll be doing his commission coming up pretty soon. But anywho, while we were chatting, I got the decals on the Myrmidons, so those are done. I just need to wait for the matte varnish to dry up right there, and you know what? I'm probably going to do another layer just to protect this decal because it looked a little light to me. Commando Y, Catapult, Flashman. PV total of 162. How much PV did you have in the bank? I didn't know you had that much. I know, what's his name? Gave you all of his PV on the last mission. Let's see. Ooh. Kapipi. Oh, you had 226 PV. Damn. Yeah, 226. Yeah. So you're buying all those mechs. Okay. Those are good choices, man. Sweet. Yeah, we do Alpha Strike campaign because I can't be at the store all day playing one game of classic. I can't do like a 8-hour classic campaign game. I have to try to get at least a couple games in within 4 hours, and then I have to go home. That's my kind of my schedule, unless the wife is off and the kids don't have school or something like that. Like then I can be at the store pretty much the whole day. But even then, like nobody really plays classic at my store. Like I play classic. I have all the stuff for it. We have all the hex tech and the maps. I have one of the BFGs, the big fat map, the BFM. Yeah, Alpha Strike is just more. It's more streamlined, and we have a lot of fun with it, especially with the way we've written our campaigns. Our PvP campaign is really cool. Our PvE campaign that I run is people seem to like it. You know, your mercenary company. You build your mercenary company from the bottom up, and you level up, and you gain reputation, and you get PV, and sometimes you can salvage really special units that you normally wouldn't be able to buy because of the availability to you. So if you kill somebody like a PVE NPC bad guy that I run that has like a Davian only or like a Kurita only unit or like some Comstar only unit, and you head cap it, you get to repair it, and then you can use it if you don't destroy it completely. But like you wouldn't be able to like normally buy it because our restrictions for the mercenaries are just mercenary and inner sphere general is all they're allowed to buy, unless there's something in the black market, which we do also have, and they pay like a PV tax for certain things, but they can't get everything. Not everything is in the black market. It's just like a set number of stuff, and they have to ask for it, and it can be denied. So if it's something like, they ask CFox, hey, can I ask CFox to commandeer a society, CEWS, Angel ECM, Ultra Omega Osteon Mech, Omni Mech from the society. CFox is going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. They're going to be like, nope, cannot acquire that. But, if they ask for, hey, do you guys have any Kurita specific mechs? CFox might go like, yes, we can acquire that. Yes. For the small fee, we can acquire that for you. Yeah, buddy. Yep. Yeah, it makes the games more streamlined and makes it easier for people to get into, but it also enables for some advanced play because we have like a 2-tier system in the PvE campaign. We have our beginners tier, our level, and then we have our elite tier. And on that, when you do that tier, you do the more advanced missions, and we allow for SPAs and like special formation rules and things like that. No price too high. Yeah, the mascot of the Seafox Black Market guy is J.C. Denton from Deus Ex. He's literally like the embodiment of a Seafox, like a Seafox shill, attitude and all. Yes, yes. We can acquire that for you, yes. For a small fee, of course. A small fee. When the mercenary company walks up to the Seafox guys, like, I don't have the money for it. I don't have the sea bills. And the Seafox guy's like, maybe you should get a job. Have you heard about the Word of Blake conspiracies? Have you heard about the truth about the Merrick Master, the one running all of the Word of Blake forces? The real Thomas Merrick. Have you heard about the conspiracies of the real Thomas Merrick? It's not a conspiracy, it's the truth. Seafox knows. Comstar's hiding. He's hiding the truth. It's a UNATCO conspiracy, Ian. Comstar controls all the information. Therefore, Comstar controls the truth. All right. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I do want to call it for the night. I'm going to finish up these guys once the camera turns off. Ian, I will get with you after this, and we'll sort out the shopping list. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. You didn't know, John? John, you didn't know? How did you not know this? What a shame. All right. Well, to everybody watching, thank you for coming and hanging out and chatting. I appreciate you guys coming in as always. And yeah, have a good weekend.